Hey everybody, Speaker here. Today I'm bringing you a brand new video on how to get better performance in Dayz mod. Now a lot of you have been complaining about performance issues or very low FPS that some of you call lag. Let's not confuse lag and FPS, please guys. Lag is totally different. FPS is the frames per second. A lot of you have been getting low frames per second, and that's what you guys are talking about. So don't mix it up. Alright, so anyway, I am here to show you guys how to get better frames per second, better performance in Dayz mod. Arma 2 has a kind of weird engine. It's not perfectly optimized. It's kind of shitty, to tell you the truth. So we're going to have to work around a few things. Alright, let's get to it. You'll see in this video that I'm going to gain about 30 FPS, which is pretty amazing. But this is by no means a guarantee that you will too. I'm here to help you to get better performance, but each system has different specs and they run differently with Dayz, so this is not a guarantee. Though if you do follow the instructions, I'm pretty darn sure that you will get better performance. First thing first, we want to open up our advanced video settings. So you go click on options, video options, and for me it's already on advanced, but it'll look like that the first time you open it up. Just click on advanced and there you go, you get the full options. Alright, here we are. First step, you're gonna look at the quality preferences. You're not gonna touch this. We really don't care. It can be on low, on normal, on very high. We don't care. It's actually gonna change by itself. What's most important is that both of these resolution, interface resolution and 3D resolution have to be exactly the same. Preferably your native resolution. So if you're playing at 1080p, 1080p. Texture detail on very high unless you have less than 1 GB of RAM video card. Video memory should always be on default, no matter what. Never run anything except default, even if you have a beefy card. Anthroposcopic thingamajig, very high for the same reasons as texture detail. Keep it on very high if you have more than 1 GB of RAM on your video card. Anti-aliasing, now this is something that's gonna fuck up your FPS, so leave that on low or maybe even disabled if you have a low spec computer. ATOG also is something that's going to eat away at your FPS. It looks nice when everything's activated, all trees and grass, but you'll get better performance and you'll actually be able to see better if you disable it. For the terrain detail, now this pretty much depends on your system specs. If you have a good graphics card and a good processor, you can keep this on high. Otherwise, it's gonna pretty much be in between high or low. It really depends on your system specs. If you consider that your PC is having a hard time running Dayz, keep it on low. Object detail. Now this is something that I kind of like to keep as high as possible because this can actually influence how far away you can see somebody. So try to put that as high as you can while maintaining good FPS. Shadow detail. Now this is something that eats away at your frames. That's for sure. Try to keep this on either normal or even consider disabling it, even if when you do disable it, it gets pretty ugly. Sorry about that, but it's true. HDR quality. Now this is purely aesthetic. It's pretty much useless to put it anything above normal. So just keep it at normal. It'll save you a few frames. PPAA, I find that SMAA works very well, so keep that on SMA low or SMA normal. I keep it generally on normal. Try out on low if you're having some FPS issues. Or you can completely disable it, it's not gonna hurt that bad. Alright, for the last part, the post-process effects, just completely disable that, otherwise it's gonna give you some hideous looking motion blur, and it's just not nice at all. I don't know what they were thinking, really. Interface size, I like it at very small, but that's really personal. Do whatever you want. It's not going to influence anything. Aspect ratio, just don't really touch this. It's gonna change depending on what kind of screen you have, depending if you change like the field of view or something. Just kind of trust it on that. Don't touch it too much, otherwise it can really kind of screw up the image. And yeah. VSync, always leave that disabled. You won't get high enough FPS anyway in this game to really need to use it at all, so just leave it disabled. Otherwise, up on top there, visibility, brightness, gamma. Visibility doesn't do anything at all in Dayz, nothing. So whatever. And as for brightness and gamma, that's totally up to you guys. Depending if it's nighttime, if it's a bit dark, you know, to your personal taste. Alright, now the last thing that you can do to try to squeeze out a few extra FPS is to go under the launch options and to change that. Now what you're going to do is go under Steam, Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead, right click it, go under Properties, and click on Set Launch Options. Now these are the only 4 I use, and a lot of people say, oh, you gotta add like CPU count equals 4 if you got a 4-core CPU, and like the maximum amount of RAM you have, and all that kind of stuff. But no, really, it does not change a goddamn thing. And I've talked to a lot of people who really know what they're doing in the domain. I've tested it out myself. I've looked at my own CPU activity. Nothing changes, really. I have an i7 377K. It really doesn't matter, really. If I set it to the 4 cores and like 7 or 8 threads, it won't change a single thing. It's going to use 1 core mostly, a tiny little bit of the second one, and it's not going to increase my performance whatsoever. So really, stick to these 4. I'm going to copy them down in the description below, copy paste them, and that's about it. You can also apply this to like Dayz standalone and to Arma 3 too. One last thing that we can do is go under Dayz launcher that we all installed last time in one of my other tutorial videos. Click on settings, and you can go down here and just check no splash, no logs, that's important, no pause, and add winxp right here below under additional parameters. Click on save, and we're about done. That's it. Alright guys, I really hope that this video helped you all out. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. One thing that you gotta do though is make sure to hop onto our UFP Overpoch server, the UFP server. All the information that you guys need to be able to connect is down in the description below, and if you need help installing Dayz mod or installing Overpoch or anything at all pretty much, be sure to check out my other tutorial video on how to properly install without errors Dayz mod and how to connect to the UFP Overpoch server. Thanks so much for watching, and see you all next time.